A very good evening to all of you. Uh, I'd like to especially thank Tech Plus Media and CXO TV for setting up this very exciting roundtable discussion. In today's rapidly evolving business environment, operational agility is not just a competitive advantage, it's a necessity. Organizations must be able to adapt quickly to changing market demands, optimize their resources, and innovate continuously to stay ahead. So, welcome to all of you. My name is Ashish Mathur. It is indeed an honor and privilege for me to be the moderator for today's session. With me this evening, I have a panel of much esteemed group of senior IT professionals from very diverse organizational backgrounds. As you know, the topic for today is enhancing operational agility through AI cloud integration. Our topic today touches upon two very, very important themes, namely artificial intelligence or AI and cloud, and how the two come together to influence and transform every aspect of our lives. But before we get started on the discussion, let me invite the six esteemed panelists to quickly introduce themselves and tell us a little about their organization and their role. First up, Mr. Harsh Arora from Hindustan Power.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. So, thanks for inviting me to this prestigious panel on a topic which is very hot technical topic nowadays. So, myself, Harsh Arora, Group Head IT and Senior Vice President at Hindustan Power Projects. Our organization is into power generation. We have thermal power plants and solar power plants across various states in India. And we have recently gone into mining also. So this is about our organization.
Thank you. Mr. Sanjiv Kumar Jain from Krishna Maruti Group.
Hi, everybody. This is Sanjiv Kumar Jain, and I'm the Group CIO for Krishna Group, a group basically in automotive component manufacturing. We are the leaders in making seats for four-wheelers and do plastic parts, mirrors, and safety devices. We have a conglomerate of around about 38 companies running across India for catering all your needs. We give you the comfort of sitting in your cars. I hope you must be enjoying the comfort we are providing to you. Looking forward for a healthy decision today on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjiv. Next, I'd like to invite Colonel Alok Shankar Pandey from DFCCI, Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India, to please introduce himself.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Colonel Alok Shankar Pandey. I'm the Additional General Manager IT and the Chief Information Security Officer with Dedicated Freight Corridor. At the outset, I would like to thank Tech Plus Media and CXO TV for giving me this opportunity to share my views with all of you. Simultaneously, I would want to put in a disclaimer that all views expressed are personal and have got nothing to do with any organization that I am serving, either today or in the past. And the organization is looking to change the way freight movement is happening in the country by using faster, longer, and heavier hauls of freight trains across the country. We have two dedicated corridors, Eastern and Western Corridor, connecting the seaports to the land ports. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok. I'd like to invite Mr. J.P. Dwivedi from Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute and Research Care Center to introduce himself.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Tech Plus Media and CXO TV, for inviting me to share the dais with the esteemed panelists. I'm J.P. Dwivedi, CIO of Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute and Research Center. We are a super specialty cancer care provider, and we are rated amongst the best in the world. So I take pride in serving this organization and working closely with doctors, nurses, and management to really automate the processes, bring the technology to the forefront for helping the patients, doctors, and technicians all together.
Thank you. Next up, Mr. Golok Kumar Simli from the Ministry of External Affairs. If you can kindly introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Golok Kumar Simli. I am the Principal Advisor and Chief Technology Officer for the Passport Seva program within the ministry. To my organization at large, I think you all are aware about the External Affairs Ministry. Our first job is the foreign relations, foreign diplomacy. But then what I am looking into is the all travel document related things, India and globally too. One more thing I would like to add into it, other than whatever I'll speak today, I'll also try to infuse the journey what we have seen in the e-governance, because I am involved right from 2004-5, the day we conceptualize e-governance in India. So maybe that experience will hold good for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Golok. My next and last panelist, Mr. Amarjeet Singh Cheema from CDAC.
Very good evening, all of you. I am Amarjeet, the head of the department in Scientist Health Informatics Group. And from last 23 years, CDAC is working for the Noida specifically for the automation of hospitals. And we are providing the electronic medical record and HMIS solution for most of the government hospitals. Apart from this, we also have a cloud computing data center enabled in CDAC Noida, where we are hosting most of the government offices and hospital-centric applications. And in last, I would also like to copy the Colonel Alok disclaimer that during this discussion, all views are related to my personal views, not related to any of CDAC or any other department. Thank you.
I think that goes without saying for all of us. All views are personal. But I would also like to inform the audience that this is a very esteemed and very knowledgeable panel. I'm sure the views that you'll get are also extremely insightful and, it'll tell us where we are headed in the future. So thank you, all of you, for your introductions. Let me just give a little bit of brief about the topic and do some context setting. The topic again, enhancing operational agility through AI cloud integration. As we all know, data is the fuel for AI, and managing data at scale requires complementary technology. Something to add to help the AI to happen. So cloud computing is one of those most prominent and important complementary technologies that helps fuel the AI journey. Cloud computing provides the necessary infrastructure to store, to process, and to execute AI algorithms efficiently. The synergy between cloud and AI enables scalable and flexibility and can provide powerful solutions that drive innovation and insights. In today's fast-paced business environment, operational agility is crucial for maintaining competitiveness and driving growth. This roundtable will explore how organizations are leveraging these two very important game-changing pillars, AI and cloud technologies, and integrating them to enhance operational agility, to reduce cost, and to accelerate innovation. Like I said, we are fortunate that our panel today is very diverse, and we will hear perspectives from the power sector, manufacturing and auto manufacturing, railways, freight corridor, which is the logistics company, medical, cancer research, the Government of India Ministry of External Affairs, and CDAC, which is the leading tech R&D corporation of the government. So without any further ado, let us dive into the panel discussion. I'd like to call upon the first panelist, Mr. Harsh Arora from Hindustan Power. Harsh, we know cloud depicts scalability, ready to use, and security. I would like to know from you how your organization has leveraged AI cloud integration to scale operations efficiently in the power generation process. how are you handling IoT data, such as, the data from your thousands and millions of sensors on a real-time basis? And can you help us explain this maybe with an example?
Okay. So a good question related to power sector. See, actually, if you see this, first about how the data is coming. So when you see the thermal power plant, so the data is coming mainly, if you see, there are multiple systems like DCS, PLCs, ESDs, controllers, and historians through which data comes. So multiple sensors are there in the plant through which this data comes. Plus, we have IoTs also to provide data related to specific weather parameters. So similarly, in solar, uh, the data sources are mainly RTUs and SCADA systems, and plus the IoTs for means the parameters related to weather, which are very important to us, or the rate means to predict what will be the power generation for next few days. So it helps, weather helps us, weather parameters help us a lot in understanding that. So those data are important. Now, how that we are leveraging AI and cloud for taking inference of these lot of data which is getting generated, how to infer that. So the AI and cloud integration. Why AI on cloud only, not on prem? Because if you see, most of our systems are on prem. Why then go and do this data analysis on cloud only? Because if you see the kind of innovation which is taking place in AI field, right, it is very, very rapid. Means whether it is development in AI platforms or LLMs or the hardware, if you see, which on which these AI platforms run, the GPUs and DPUs. So a lot of innovation is taking place in that field. And it's very difficult to have a on-prem landscape for all this technology, which is changing very, very fast. So it doesn't justify the ROI to have such things on your own premises. So better to have a cloud-enabled platform wherein you can do the use, because the technology is new. So you need to do the pilot to understand what kind of technology suits your purpose. So you have to select the right technology. So accordingly, so so that's why the cloud AI platform. Now, how it can be used in power sector is that one is the as I told you, the analytics, where AI-enabled analytics, which play a very important role. That because if you see earlier, analytics used to be mostly static, means you integrated the data sources to a dashboarding platform, you developed the dashboards, and then those used to be static. Now with AI-enabled analytics and the what if analysis, the predictive analysis has become easier. And now with the co-pilots which are available, you can, means the huge documents which are there, you can summarize them in, say, in a few seconds or minutes only. And meeting means making presentations and all, it becomes easier for you. So it is for the leadership team to means ask the IT team to develop dashboards. Gone are the days when used to take a lot of time to develop something which is required by the users. Now, if you have all the data sources connected, right, you can form a data lake and then use the right kind of prompting to get whatever information you require. That's how this AI cloud platform is helping us to understand means the importance which is coming out from that data, and to take better decisions, and to ensure that your maintenance cycles are lower, your breakdowns are less. So it's helping us a lot.
Okay. No, I think some very relevant points. You talked about speed, you talked about doing pilots. And I think one of the topics you touched upon is the ROI. Maybe we'll come back to the cost question in a bit, but those are very, very relevant where cloud can really help. Just to follow on there, Harsh, what challenges did you face during this process, and how did you overcome them? I mean, you talked about a few things. How did you handle the challenges in this case?
So challenges, whenever you adopt a new technology, there challenges are many. If you see, one is it starts with which platform suits you better, right? So because a lot of changes are taking place, so which platform you have to choose. Then the second bigger challenge is finding the right talent, because being the new technology field, the talent is scarce. So to develop a resource, it takes time. To find a talent, right kind of talent is challenging. So these are and then sector specific solutions. If you see, there are generic solutions which are available, right? Platforms are there, but say specific solutions, AI enabled solutions for say it's power sector. So finding those kind of solutions which are proven, these are certain challenges which are there. So yes, with the innovation cycle going on and with the new things coming up, so I hope these challenges will also be met.
Okay. My next question, Mr. Dwivedi, to you, based on your work with the Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute and Research Center, how AI-powered analytics can improve clinical decision-making and the outcomes in a cancer care setup?
So, Mathur Saab, analytics has been in place for more than 3 decades. What had changed is that data was being collected with a point of view that certain dashboards will require it. So it was intentionally collected. It was stored in a structured manner. There were ETL programs, extracting, transforming, and loading into a platform that is a reporting platform using OLAP, and then dashboards and reports were generated. Now, since the data is being collected in such a plenty by wearable devices, it is you don't need to put any effort to collect the data. In fact, what I call the analytics nowadays is not really the information structuring or reporting, but it is information rag picking. So data is available, and you need a very sharpened technology platforms to really pick the right data and generate the information out of it. So this AI-enabled analytics now is helping surfing through the unstructured data. Well, there is no intention to collect the data. It is coming as a byproduct. And this is now generating the meaningful insight. We can visualize the data, we can see the trends, and we can find relevant things out of that data. So I'll give you a couple of examples. You see, when a doctor sees a patient, certain symptoms, certain parameters are entered, and then AI-driven analytics will suddenly generate a pop-up that, by the way, the literature says that there are 37 such cases where these treatment regimens were introduced and these were the efficacies. Now you see the help that clinician is getting across the globe, wherever best practices have been followed. These have been the evidences. So we can follow evidence-based medicine, and these practices are becoming very easy. Doctors are now empowered with the outcomes of the actions taken by most experienced oncologists in the world, and their survival analysis, their outcomes, efficacy of the medicine. So Arora Saab just said about predictive analytics. We can also foresee and generate a forecast that this is the probability of this person developing a cancer in due course. And this will be probably the efficacy of the medicine. So really, sky is the limit. We are getting tremendous help out of technology.
Understood. Oh, great. I think you talked about wearable technology, and that's something which all of us are wearing, these smart watches. I always thought that they are good for, measuring your BP or these days they can take ECGs, but helping an oncologist diagnose things on a real-time basis is something which would be very, very, very useful to this work. But thank you for that response. Just a follow-up question, Mr. Dwivedi. What initiatives have been taken in your organization, and can you enumerate the outcomes of those initiatives?
We have really taken several initiatives. I'll just give you a couple of examples. So one is effective use of AI in diagnosis. So we put this in our pathology lab. And with the help of digital pathology, we could capture the images, analyze them, and then this technology can diagnose a cancer. So we started with the small area, prostate cancer, and we loaded 100 models. And we found that out of the diagnosis that was generated by this platform, there was zero false negative. So zero false negative means that if this particular platform is telling that this particular lesion is benign, then you can trust it and you need not worry about looking in detail into that. Now just imagine how much load it is reducing, load of the pathologist. Going through a microscope and really examining in detail. It will rather focus on the boundary cases, the confirmed malignant cases. So this is one example. The other example is use of generative AI. So the biggest pain point is the discharge function. So when doctor writes the discharge and actually patient moving out of the ward, it takes several hours. And the real bottleneck is preparation of the discharge summary by the doctor. Because doctors are busy and they need to look at the case and prepare the discharge summary. Even if a junior doctor oversees the process, it takes time. So we have started experimenting with the use of AI. AI can just scroll through the overall data captured during the course of admission, and the generative AI can generate a report. And that report looks quite promising. So we have experimented this with medical oncology and are hoping to roll it out soon.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I think while all of us have used Gen AI in one way or the other to generate text, but things of this nature, and we've all actually experienced it when for friends of family, when somebody is being discharged, the amount of time taken just for the doctor to sign off on the discharge summary and the report and the next steps. Any way the technology can help, as it is the patient is worried and the family they want to get out of the hospital as quickly as possible. I'm sure this is going to go a long way in that process. Thank you. My next question is to Colonel Alok. From what tasks have you automated using AI cloud solutions, and what impact has this had on your team's productivity? So my question is more about automation and efficiency. So from that perspective, if you can tell us, how does this play out for the dedicated freight corridors project?
Thank you, Ashish, for a wonderful question. And railways being an environment which is more focused towards operations and safety is of prime importance. So there has always been an element of man in the middle, man controlling the whole thing. So traditionally, very minimalistic automation was done to serve, basically to assist the person in control. But now with the technologies which have come in, we have and the possibility of experimentation that DFCCIL provides, being a much smaller network as compared to railways, we have leveraged these new technologies which are available to try out certain out-of-the-box solutions. So lot of railway ecosystem is controlled, as in the power sector or in the healthcare sector, is OT-centric and controlled by specific OEMs. And the biggest challenge that you had was integration of these two different OEM products because they were all proprietary. So what we did was, one of the cases that we have used is we have tried to abstract a third layer on top of the OT layer and use it for integrated business solution using two different OEMs. So that is the one use case that we are using. And that is come up very wonderfully And in fact, the railways is looking up to us as a possibility of expanding this solution for railways as a whole. So that is one good solution that we have come up. In the field of machine vision, we are doing a number of things, especially towards fault isolation and detection. What happens is that when a train at 100 km/h is moving, if it has to stop or slow down, the deacceleration has to start 2 kilometers prior. And similarly, to go back to the peak speed, it takes another 2 kilometers. So 4 or 5 kilometers of acceleration, deacceleration has been overcome by means of avoiding inspection. We have put in cameras in place which actually watch the rolling stock or the passenger wagons in movement and find out areas of identified fault tolerance. Wherever fault prone areas are there or on the move, certain loose parts are coming up. So machine vision is being used very extensively. And again, this is a solution that we are again looking to expand across railways. Predictive and prescriptive maintenance is something which is a fallout of this machine vision inspection system. So you can probably, we were looking at first the predictive part of it, that these are the faults which you are visualizing, which can come up given the present condition. And over a period of time, after a certain period of learning in the predictive part, we are looking to move towards the prescriptive part of it. LLMs have been in position for quite some time now, and we are exploiting it for a specific case of arbitration management. Though open source was already available, we are looking at specific business use case scenarios where arbitration related to logistics, related to rails transport, whether national or international, these kind of summarizations can be prepared for presentation to the arbitrator. So these are the kind of use cases that we have put. So the minute I put these use cases, from these use cases, it will become evident that we are bringing in efficiency in operations. We are reducing that manual inspection part of it. Both these two are also enabling at times one is efficiency of operations, second is reduction of manpower which is being used for carrying out inspections, and also aiding decision making in the arbitration kind of things. Integration is the fourth advantage that we are having. So these are the four advantages that we have reaped, at least in this case.
Yeah. Okay. No, amazing. I mean, I think the fact that it's going to impact each one of us from making it more secure and safe, that itself is a very, very big outcome. How would you ensure the accuracy and reliability of these automated processes? One of the things that we've always seen with AI, especially the large language models, etc., there is an inherent flaw or could be inaccurate observation. So you mentioned about machine vision. How accurate is that process so that you don't really miss out on something which is important? So how would you ensure accuracy, reliability of these kind of automated processes?
What you have touched upon is a very close to heart topic, and especially when you are doing it hands-on. So I'll give you a classic example of this machine vision inspection system that we put in. And we were looking for things underhanging portions, basically the pipes, vacuum pipes, etc. If they are broken and they are underhang. So then you can make out that this is a fault which is imminent, has to be addressed immediately. Now, the framework that you put in place, in fact, the entire architecting is important. And that is where I was going to touch upon Mr. Arora and Mr. Dwivedi's example. These are unique cases to unique business, unique solution to unique business cases. I put in a camera which has got 45 FPS or 120 FPS. That camera is picking up a train moving at 100 kmph. The same fault is being picked up in multiple frames. Which frame do you discard? Overlapping frames is the challenge. Which frame do you discard? Which frame do you retain? Which frame do you use to base your decision on? So these are the things which are the challenges. So over a period of time, obviously you keep doing it and you keep, but subsequent iterations you decide that this is how to go about it. That is the learning curve part of it. So which learning curve first determines what is the kind of accuracy that will be there. I would like to caution with respect to the pre-built solutions, because there's a lot of diversity. There's diversity. In my case, if I say there's a diversity in the types of wagons that I have, a fully loaded wagon versus an empty wagon, types of wagon, passenger train. So there's a diversity. Similarly, there'll be diversity in terms of ethnicity, geographic, climate conditions, the weather conditions. All those have to be factored in. So one thing that works very well in, say, Delhi may not work very well in Kerala. So that adjustment also has to be done. So it means that the model has to be, firstly, the framework has to be designed by you. Pre-designed frameworks, I'm afraid, do not work. Once you've designed it, you have to train it on the data that you have, realistic data. Again, pre-designed and pre-trained frameworks, I'm adding that word pre-trained now, do not work because they have been trained in a particular environment. And once you talk of pre-trained, because even if you go to train, you have to be mindful of the fact that the data is a reflection of real world. And the real world is full of biases. So the model that you will train will have biases, and you will have to accept those biases no matter how much you want to normalize and bring it near zero. But the biases are there because that is a reflection of the source from which you are taking those data. So you have to deal with that. And finally, my concern remains with respect to where I am processing this data and whether this data is available to me. So my data localization and data sovereignty, these two are my major concern with respect to data processing where I am going. So the accuracy depends on entirely, finally, to summarize, maybe the data management and it's the way you are going managing data and the framework around that you're handling.
Understood. Okay. Now, nice use case and very well implemented, I would say. I mean, from what we hear is absolutely fascinating use of technology. I'd like to move on, maybe, different industry or segment. Mr. Golok, he's from the Ministry of External Affairs and very closely involved with the Passport Seva Kendra. This question is to you on improved collaboration. I just want to understand how this technology, how cloud-based AI tools have enhanced communication and collaboration within your teams. How has it impacted your customers, right? And this is one area that each one of us have been your customers in terms of, getting our passports and so on. Have you been able to benefit from Gen AI initiatives? And specifically, it will be nice to know how this is being used in your Passport Seva Kendra and what other efficiencies can we as customers expect in the coming times. So sorry, it's a long question, but if you can just explain how cloud-based AI tools enhance communication, collaboration, and efficiency.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mathur. Let me at the outset thank CISO TV for having me here. No, as you rightly said, it's a long question, but I'll bring into perspective. Before even I go into collaboration and know the effectiveness of collaboration, these emerging technologies, I think what we are observing sitting within the government across the globe is there are 5 global trends. Why only cloud and AI? But I'll say there are 5 global trends. If one has to effectively kind of utilize, leverage these 5 global trends, I think my view is one has to see all these 5 trends holistically. And what are these 5 trends? One, you already said, the AI and machine learning. The second is another, you rightly said, the cloud computing and edge computing. The third trend is 5G and beyond. The fourth trend, no one of us has touched at this point of time, the data privacy and data security. And the fifth trend is the IoT and distributed technology, some of us which we have touched. Now, if I see into all these 5 trends and coming back to my own program, Passport Seva program within the country and across the globe, I foresee like this, Mr. Mathur, saying that when I'm leveraging, let's say, cloud-based, the kind of a platform, first and foremost thing is sitting within the government setup. We are taking a cloud approach, which is a hybrid approach. And the idea of leveraging cloud is twofold. One is moving towards the closure of the citizens wherever they are. You always agree with me saying that the kind of challenges we are dealing within the country in terms of demography, in terms of geography, in terms of literacy, education, economic conditions, a lot of variations. Now, if I have to deal with a user wherever they are having such variations, I think cloud is one of the platforms which is enabling the most, right? The second is when I'm looking kind of a interoperability across the border, as I see it within External Affairs Ministry. And since I am dealing with the travel documents, assume that international travelers, I want to find the identity of that international traveler on a real-time basis. How do I do? Unless I have a cloud kind of environment available with me. And that helps me in a kind of a detecting that person, verifying that person on a real-time basis, and also sharing all the security concerns, exchanging between country to country. So that is the most effective way we are utilizing the cloud as far as passport as a travel document is concerned. Now, coming back to the collaboration part, when we are looking into the collaboration and the use cases which I have developed, assume that, I am dealing with a citizen who reside at Northeast, who only understand, let's say, Assamese or such kind of a language. Now, Jain AI kind of a collaborative tool is helping me out, reaching to that particular citizen the way they understand, the way that particular citizen wants to engage with me in terms of availing a passport services or passport related any of the question. So tomorrow you'll experience a scenario, a Naga or let's say Assamese citizen trying to interact with the passport ecosystem. They can talk to me either in Naga or in Assamese. I'll understand that, convert it into the machine language, give it back to same thing back to the citizen. And that helps me, in terms of, as I said, one is dealing with these kind of a variations, which we have multilinguistic, multi kind of a dialect kind of a variations. The second, very effective thing is I'm trying to engage the citizens in a effective decision making, both in terms of the reaching or giving benefits to the citizen, and other side, whatever be the decision making or in terms of policy formulation, if I have to do some changes, I am doing that on a kind of a very effective on a real-time manner. The third thing probably I think I must touch on the data security and privacy part. We have spoke about, I think Mr. Dwivedi, Mr. Alok brought out a point saying that when AI and Gen AI is helping me one side, looking into the opportunity where I foresee that there is a zero kind of a false positive, and also let's say zero trust kind of an environment when I talk to the data security and privacy part. At the same time, what I'm also finding that the same zero false tolerance has something we call false positive and false negative. And that's the noise the AI is carrying. Now, how do I filter it out, that false positive and false negative? And whatever data I am capturing, whatever data I am modeling, whatever data I am feeding as a input parameters, is that data itself carrying some noise? And that gives me enough room to look into the kind of false positive and or the false negative, which is going to give me as a output or the impact. The second part is when it comes to kind of the data security part, again, or the privacy part, we always speak about zero trust, right? But let's assume that that zero trust is creating some deficit problem, the understanding problem, some backhole there in the zero trust environment, right? And these AI and all these kind of emerging technologies helping us a lot in terms of predicting the security posture, one side, but at the other side, Also, you have to see the flip side of it. Is that it is going on a now kind of a when I'm modeling or trying to predict some scenario to kind of detect those security or privacy concerns. Am I again violating some security principle? The last thing is, I also must say that when we are dealing with such technology, whether it is AI, whether it is 5G, whether it is distributed technology, IoT, I think we all must not forget something I call rules of engagement. And those rules of engagement are nothing but your compliances, regulations, and law of the land. Tomorrow, if you go somewhere wrong, where do you land? You land into the court of the law. And that's why we must comply with the rules of the engagement, whatever available is on date. So that's the way I put up, Mr. Mathur. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a very detailed response to that question. So, Sanjiv, the question to you is on innovation and the speed of innovation.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to know is, how has the integration of AI and cloud platforms accelerated your innovation cycles? So how do these technologies bring agility in your testing processes and in your manufacturing of your automotive parts? So if you can just give us a little bit of background and how you're using this technology, that'll be great.
Okay. So as everybody knows that the automotive industry is going through a revolution too, if we talk about, there is a model change every 6 months. Everybody is coming with the new models of the car. On a very frequent basis, the facelift of the vehicles. Safety norms are coming in a big way these days in the cars and the automotive industry. So we have to really do the simulations and everything so fast to meet to the security requirements, to the model change requirements for the customers and by the OEMs as a whole. So what we are doing now, we are using technology to really cater to all those things using AI and machine learning into that particular part. Previously, we were carrying out all the crash test and everything onto a physical sort of things. Today, we use softwares to carry out the simulation and the crash test into a system itself and able to understand how exactly my parts which are manufacturing will behave in the case of any accident happens or anything happens to the car or any other vehicle. So we are able to simulate that particular part and we are able to do a corrective action immediately on that particular part of it. So that is one part of the things where we are able to deliver the things much faster as compared to what was there in the physical mode of any testing and other part of it. The other part of it that when we are using, rather we do testing or we are doing quality testing of a product, it sometimes takes, a person gets so engrossed into it that he's not able to see the minor defects which happens into a particular part of it. The eyes get so used to seeing that particular thing that they are not able to detect certain small things which might be a quality issue at a later stage in any particular vehicle and the things we are sending about. Now we have started using artificial intelligence over here along with the machine learning that we put vision-based camera, as Alok was talking about, they are using vision for particular things. So what we have done, we have also started using vision-based things in a major part of it. And there, what we do, that camera is now detecting the parts, whatever is going under that particular things, and is able to see the minutest error which is there into it because it is not getting tired. It works 24/7 for us, and we are able to see any issue which is coming onto that particular part. The system keeps on learning the different defects as and when the defect is there. We just simply have to teach the machine that, okay, this is also a part of the failure. The machine learns it and is able to give that things much faster. So my customer satisfaction is increasing into that part. My detection of failure parts is reducing, and we are able to fix up the issues as much as fast possible as being required by things. And we're able to give quality services to the you end users, which you are sitting over here and the people listening to us is using it, because the seat comfort which is there in your car is when you're long driving, you need to really have the comfort. If the part is not good, you'll not be able to enjoy the drive. So all those things we are doing, and we have started using cloud for this adoption because it was very difficult for us because so many images are being taken on a particular part, and storing it into a device was becoming more and more difficult because the agility is required that today you are doing 100 seats or 200 seats or any under 200 parts, the images keeps on increasing, and then more and more images are required the moment the machine learning happens. So we have started utilizing the cloud for that particular part. We keep on moving the things to the cloud, and from there we are able to take the data sets and do the analysis as part of it. So all these things are contributing into a much faster deliveries to the customer with a much better quality rate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, I was thinking, how has this led to faster time to market, and that's what you just explained. The whole story about how you're integrating these technologies to a faster time to market a new product or a service, and also the way you're using simulation. Obviously, this before this technology was available, everything was manual, and probably you won't have been able to catch the nuances of the process or of the product. So I guess big time help to your industry and to us as end users and consumers of your product. Let me move on to a question, and we have been talking about data privacy, security. We have talked about it. I want to give this question to you, Amarjeet. Amarjeet is from CDAC. So Amarjeet, if you can tell us what challenges are envisaged and handled due to data privacy and security issues. I know you, in your research, there's so much of data that you have, and so I would like to know how do you think companies are geared to handle this challenge, and specifically, how does this pan out in an R&D setup such as yours?
Right, sir. So most of the speaker has talked about the data, artificial intelligence, and cloud. And one of the speaker has spoken about like the privacy and security is the major concern. So both are the related to the cyber safety and cyber security. So I split this question in two parts. Let's talk about first, what is the data security? So when we talk about data security, like unauthorized access of your data, maybe from your servers, maybe from your PCs, maybe from your mobile, right? So how to protect this unauthorized access of your data? So in traditional way, in most of the cases, when we talk about the on-premises data centers, most of the organizations which are very well having a good fundings, they would like to create their data center on the on-premises, with the fact that there is a trust that the data is in front of their building, in front of them, and they are very well protected. So this is the one of the misconcept, like the data is protected in premises, because the major challenge, they forget the compliances, they forget the security devices, they forget about the proper manpower, and they open the Pandora box or data to our cyber threats. So the major challenge for us to get the trust of the cloud computing. So we need to convince. So if we talk about last 3 to 5 years before COVID, it's very difficult to convince the organization to move from the on-premises to a cloud computing to protect your data. And if you talk about like 5 years or 6 years back, most of the DBAs in a on-premises data center having the access of all databases because the data was not encrypted. This is the major challenge. And data is the hand of the DBA. He can access the data of anybody, even he can update the data. So this is the one of the challenge which mitigate by the cloud computing, because cloud computings are well compliance with the ISO standards, security standards, proper audited, and they protect your data for the unauthorized access. They have the proper audit logs whenever you access those data. Apart from this, they are now AI-enabled cloud. What's the mean of AI-enabled cloud? When somebody hits the cloud servers on a different frequency, means that let's say you're getting a 1,000 concurrent user hit, but suddenly you have started getting the 5,000, 6,000 or 7,000 concurrent hits. So what cloud firewalls does, they even immediately put give the alerts. So these are the challenges in the case of the security has been properly mitigated. And when you work in the environment, when you work on the PCs, when you work on the mobile in your office network, so there are the CISO guidelines everybody has circulated that you need to be protected by the antiviruses, and you don't need to use the other links to protect your data. So these are the awareness. So we need to also aware the end user, not only the secure the cloud, we also need to aware the end user. So these are the security things that every organization has facing, and now they are moving to cloud and mitigate the most of the challenges, and they are also doing the capacity building. Now I come to the part of the data privacy. Data privacy in respect people rights and preferences. This is a very area where we are the beginners in the right now, and DPDP Digital Personal Data Protection Act is going to be implemented. See, understand the meaning of this data privacy. Suppose I'm giving any information to any hospital or any department, I should have a rights to withdraw my data. So such kind of systems are currently not available. I'll repeat this example. Let's say you go to any hospital and you give us some data, or you go to some department and you give us your demographic data. The organization should ask you, explain you that why this data to be required by the department, and they get the proper consent, and you have the authority that you can withdraw this consent, and organization needs to delete this data. This is the act of DPDP. So in this area, we are very beginner, and due to the cookies enabled in your browser, every data is shared to the other internet providers, and they are very easy to access your numbers, and they start calling you phishing calls. So this is privacy is right now is in a very, very threat part, and government is working in this direction. And this is one of the challenge for our IT person, that how we are going to protect the privacy and give the ownership of the data to the particular end user, that he can protect the data. Now your second question, but how we are addressing this as a IT provider. So definitely we are ensuring the compliances as per the guidelines of the Government of India in terms of the cloud computing. That data should be adhered in the India, as well as the all compliances. And in terms of data privacy, yes, we are protecting the personal information through encrypted data, sharing this data encrypted from one server to another server. And in near future, we are going to give the ownership of this data to the end user.
Okay, got it. Now, I think the right to forget, as we call it, is one of the most difficult ones to implement on cloud. And how do you handle this? This on-prem versus cloud, and how is it managed without compromising on quality and safety?
I think that is a question that the world is grappling with today. Has no certain answers. I personally like to call it game theory, because there is a game theory going on. And the propellers or the causes for moving to cloud, most often quoted was agility, innovation, very good. And I move from on-prem to cloud, then suddenly I find new business models coming in, where you are being charged per bit, per byte. And then what I'm addressing the user aspiration on one side, but at the same time, my costs are moving up. So I went there with a hope that the cost would come down. My costs have gone up, and now I'm again coming back. So this is the latest report that I heard about a week back, was about 40% people who migrated to clouds are looking to come back. There would be business different use cases, but government per se, cloud is a good solution. For enterprises, I think there will be a hybrid kind of a solution. So where you want to do a public facing solution, which you want to give out, leverage the cloud capabilities for data retention and for what is not public service facing, especially from the data protection part of it. Even at loggerheads with what Amarjeet told, that what is on-premise is better. I'm not talking about security, but then yes, what data you're not wanting to push out, probably keep it on cloud. So you have a balance of cost, but I don't have a very clear-cut answer on this. Each business case, each organization has a different take on it. I personally am hybrid mode right now.
Yeah, I would like to add something, sir. We have done this study, and first point is that the people who were earlier using the on-premises due to trust, now they are moving to cloud. The reason behind is that the cost of maintaining the data center on on-premises are much higher than a cloud cost. The reason is when you build any data center in your premises, you need a one building. You need a 24/7 ACs, 24/7 security, 24/7 DBA and system administrator. So the cost of DBA and system administrator is around 6 to 7 lakh rupees per annum, 2 DBAs. So you need to make a 24/7 shift. So you take like around 20 lakhs, 15 to 20 lakhs or 7 to 10 lakhs between the manpower charges only to maintaining the servers. Apart from the servers infra cost, maintenance cost, and every 3 to 5 years you need to renew the licenses, maintenance cost, database license cost, everything is need to be managed by the on-premises organization, and the cost is huge compared to the cloud computing. And the best advantage of cloud at any point of time, if you feel that the cloud cost is comparatively lesser in different vendor, you can migrate from one cloud to another cloud. The only drawback of cloud is if the internet connectivity is not good, then you need to be think of for on-premises. And another, Colonel Alok has said very well said, like you can create a hybrid environment where the confidential data should be stay in your premises with proper protection, proper data center, and the other data could be travels to the public.
So, Amarjeet, I think you made some points. I'm not sure if I'm in 100% agreement with everything that you said, but in the interest of time, we'll let that go. Of course, this is an ongoing debate. It can be a topic on itself, on-prem versus cloud, and security, scalability, speed, the tools that are available on cloud. How do you do it on-prem, and so on and so forth? But maybe for some other day. But thanks for your inputs. Let me quickly move on. Just a couple more questions because I'm also looking at the clock. We need to wrap up quickly. Just quick 2 questions. Maybe this one is to you, Harsh. If you have a crystal ball and if you can really predict the tech future, let's say for the next 3, 4, 5 years, where do you see the world moving in terms of the advancement of AI in cloud? And how will that impact our universe? So if you can just give a very brief answer to this one.
Okay. So the way the world is moving, if you see, anything and everything is coming with AI features, whether your consumer durables, white goods. So you find anything, your cars. So I think in the future, the next 5 years, so you will electrical or electronic equipment or anything, right? It will be AI enabled. You will see that AI features, certain one or the other AI features there in that. And secondly, from industry point of view, when I say, then AI will be there in almost every product which you will be using, whether it is software or sustainable hardware which you are using. So to monitor those hardwares, to address the predictability of their failures, etc. So AI will be part of all the hardware and software solutions, almost everything which you will be using in the industry. And it will help to build you truly autonomous factories, truly autonomous organizations wherein the decisions are being taken using calculated means you have taken calculated decisions you are making with the help of AI. That is my take.
Got it. Moving on, slightly different topic. I mean, we've seen that these are really cutting edge technologies everybody wants to implement. But one of the things that we have always found is the lack of skills or experienced people. Anyway, this technology is new, so you can't expect somebody with a 20 years experience in Gen AI, for example. It's a new tech. But having said that, how are you addressing these skill gaps? And Mr. Dwivedi, if I can ask you that question, how are you addressing the skill gaps especially in the AI cloud integration space?
Mathur Saab, I'll give you my secret sauce. I go to NASCOM. They run health innovation challenges every quarter. And I just put my problem and a kind of overall solution sketching. They have an ecosystem of the sharp, intelligent startup guys. They will bring in a lot of options. We do the evaluation, find best products, and we have been successful so far. At least 4 innovation challenges have given us 4 different solutions. So it is working for us. There are other models, but this one is working.
Fantastic. That's nice to know. At least you're using the startup ecosystem to your advantage. Great. Maybe we'll have to, maybe the last question before I conclude. And Alok, if you can be kind enough to respond because you have the CISO background. And although we've talked a little bit about the problems of privacy and etc., what do you think are the potential risks or the downsides of AI cloud integration?
I'll keep it to the fundamentals and not take it to the DPDP and privacy, etc. The fundamentals of any cybersecurity or any information security is the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So let me go the other way. Availability, denial of service. So what Amarjeet was talking of network availability, I put it at 2 levels of application denial of service and the network level denial of service. So we have to have a solution for mitigation of denial of service. That is the first part with respect to the availability. Coming to integrity, it's been a long concept since long, man in the middle. But man in the middle, in my case, in this particular case, what I'm talking specifically is possibility of data poisoning, biases, and false positives. So these are the 3 things that with respect to integrity, that I would want to touch. And with respect to confidentiality, now in an era of, I think Mr. Sanjiv was talking how machines are looking at or cameras are looking at the product and you are using it to identify false positives or the faults, etc. We are basically talking of machine-to-machine communication, M2M. So now not just the identity of the individual in a zero trust game, not that the identity of the individual becomes important, identity of the machines also become important. So put a zero trust along all identities in the entire ecosystem is something that becomes the next big challenge. So I think that should be addressing the CIA triad. If I am able to address, I think I am able to put a solution to it. The challenges remain.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That was well summarized. We are kind of, I wanted to say that in this forum, we've talked a lot about different technologies and different use cases. But the one thing which is common is that each of you spoke about something that I could relate to on a personal basis, not necessarily only professional and work-wise. So whether it's the passport seva, whether it's the cancer and research, the topics that we touched upon, actually one can relate to it on not just professionally, but also how we can benefit from this operational agility on a personal basis. So one more comment about operational agility. While we've talked about it in the last few minutes and maybe an hour or so, I think from a definition perspective, I wanted to spell this out, is the ability of an organization to quickly adapt to changes in the market or environment. It involves flexibility in processes, speed in implementation, and resilience to disruptions, continuous innovation, scalability of operations, etc. This agility is crucial for maintaining competitiveness, right? And in seizing any new opportunities that may come. By being operationally agile, organizations can effectively manage both the risks and at the same time consistently deliver value. I think great round of discussion. I just wanted to summarize very briefly.
Mr. Mathur, before you summarize, I think some food for thought we must leave for the audience. 3 food for thought from my side. I think one is, again, I think every one of us which will be witnessing going forward, the days to come will be a challenge for it is not from data to compute, but it is compute to data. How do we deal with that? The second is something I call mobility of workforce and workspace. It's a global phenomena. How do we deal with that? The third thing is Mr. Mathur is a citizen, Mr. Jain is a citizen, but Mr. Mathur and Mr. Jain is also a global citizen. How do you deal with that? So these are the three food for thought. I think all we need to think towards that. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up, Golok. I think maybe have another round of discussion on that. But yeah, so key insights and takeaways for this session. I kind of was taking some notes, so I would say that there are 5 from my perspective. One is AI cloud integration streamlines processes and improves decision making. Very obvious. Second, scalability, automation, collaboration are some of the key benefits. Data privacy and security are still significant concerns. We haven't been able to address and solve that problem, but that's something that is a big ticket item for all of us. Hybrid models and cost management are critical and crucial. Cost will always be a concern for all businesses, and for the foreseeable future, it will always be one of the key parameters to keep in mind. And the last one is future advancements will focus on edge computing, Gen AI, hyper automation, and some of the other things that some of the panelists mentioned. Right? We talked about 5G, we talked about IoT. So some of that will always be part of the future investment. In closing, I think today's discussion highlighted the transformative potential of AI cloud integration in enhancing operational agility. So our panelists, thank you, all of you. You shared a very valuable insight on scalability, on automation, on collaboration and innovation. As we look to the future, it's clear that AI and cloud integration will continue to drive business growth and competitiveness. So thank you all the panelists for your active participation and for providing insights based on your years of knowledge and experience. I'd also like to thank the organizers, the Tech Plus Media, CXO TV, once again for hosting this evening. So thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.